Hello there, survivors! Welcome back to another ARK Survival Ascended video. Today, I'm taking a look at the best base locations on Scorched Earth. I personally think you could build some amazing looking bases at some of these spots. It's a mixture of just great spots with some flat terrain or interesting terrain, as well as a couple of ruins that you could rebuild into your own base. Of course, there's many other spots on the map, so if you know a cool location, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And if you think this video has been helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. Now this is a very cool build location, especially if you enjoy rebuilding ruins, because not only do you have like a Colosseum to build in and to call your home, you have an entire town surrounded by a pretty complete wall already. You just need to fill in a little part, and you have another part of the town going down on different layers. So a very unique and a very cool location to try and reclaim and make into your own little city with a big arena. So these ruins are located right here out in the desert in the dunes, so it is a little bit of a more harsh location to live, but it's also a very cool place to rebuild. Another cool spot, especially for those that favor the ruins, is this one, again right in the dunes, but this one is on the edge, so you're still close to the center of the map and the other terrains. And this once again is a pretty big town up for rebuilding, and there's a lot of different buildings, so this could actually be perfect for like a bigger tribe, because there's places enough for everyone to have their own homes. But even if you don't have that many friends like I do, you can still rebuild most of these ruins and maybe specialize each building into something specific, like a forge, a blacksmith, the storage room, you name it, because there's so many buildings here that you could rebuild, that you have a lot of options and a lot of room to do it. The only downside I would say that there is to this place, from already having started rebuilding these ruins myself, is that they are fairly smaller sized. So if you need a bigger space, you'll have to use the entrance to one of the cave systems. But of course, you can probably only do this realistically if you're building on a private server, or maybe you're playing single player, because otherwise other people might not be too happy with you claiming this. But if you're able to, there's actually a very sizable interior to this building, as well as the first room in the cave, which is still completely safe. It's actually very, very big, and it's where me and my friends have actually started to build our main base, because it's just a safe place, and it's actually quite cool and unique to live here underground. You won't have any issues with the weather down here. As I said, the ruins are just barely located in the dunes, but still close enough to the center of the map that it shouldn't be too difficult to get there without running into too much danger. Of course, I can't really make a video like this without pointing out the cool location, or the cool possibility of building on top of one of these high pillars that we have all over the map. Now, there's not really an exact coordinates for this, because there's a couple of them. You have these one right here, but you have more of them next to it. You have a couple of them over there around the green up as well. And of course, the advantage of this would be that it's a very nice view. You can really see all around you, and you won't have many things bothering you up here. So that is a big advantage, of course, but it also means that you will always need to be probably flying or build like a big elevator to get up here and to bring your tames up. So maybe more of a later game place to call home. This spot I really like, because it's pretty much the perfect center of the map. So it's a very central location, and it's this big platform here in the middle. Now, it's not completely flat, but it has a couple of flat layers. So you have this first layer down here, second layer in the middle, third layer up there, and then it becomes a little less flat, but still you have some layers to build some stuff on, depending on how big you will go. But it's very well connected. You've got a couple of land bridges connecting it up to other places, connections down to the water as well, so it shouldn't be too hard to get some water going. And again, it is the literal center of the map, so you're pretty much close to everything and everywhere. It's also a relatively safe area, so there is some danger here. Things you should probably be able to take care of after being settled down on Scorched a little bit. The worst thing that I've seen spawn here is rock golems, so that is the only main danger. I don't know if they spawn here a lot, but on the community server that I host, we have our hub right here, and we've had some issues with them showing up uninvited. So maybe you want to only start building here once you're able to defend yourself a little bit. But once you do, these are the coordinates, so it is pretty much in the center. This is another spot that I really like the potential of. As you can see, there's more ruins here. As you can also see, it's a little bit more dangerous, so you probably want to make sure that you start living here once you're able to take care of yourself a little bit. The cool thing about this base is that it has like multiple levels to it. You have the main ruins right here that you could try and rebuild and make part of your base in. And they already look really cool, and I think there's a lot of options to make like a cool little town or like a little castle down here on this edge. But then you have these cool paths leading into this like crevice in the mountain. You actually have a gate right down here that you could probably add your own gate to close it off, which means that you have this little hallway that's pretty much all yours for the taking. And you have the stairs connecting up back to the ruin and a little passageway to the other side of the mountain. Again, closing this off would give you a pretty cool area to call your own, and you have access to both sides of the mountain. If you want to go out to the desert, you have access to that, and you're pretty safe on this side, I would say. If you place in the gate, nothing should really bother you too much, just until you get out of the gate, of course, because it is, again, a little bit more of a dangerous area. But if you're up for the challenge, you definitely have a cool potential here with rebuilding the ruins, having the gate to have this whole hallway to yourself, but also this little platform right here that you could possibly build like a castle or something cool on top of as well. It's located here on the map, right next to the red obelisk, so it's also easy for like boss fights and stuff like that. Now, to get into the next location, you need to be at the red obelisk, and then there's this little river and lake down here, and if you go down here, there's actually a new cave. Now, eventually, if you swim through all of this cave, you'll get to this beautiful new location. It's actually a cool new cave they've added, and it's pretty damn big as well. So there's a lot of cool options to build a base down here, whilst also still having a bunch of resources available to you, and I think also a couple of drops as well. So yeah, there's a lot of potential with this place to build something really cool and unique hidden away in this cave. So if you've always already wanted to build in a cool cave, this definitely gives you a lot of opportunities, and just a bunch of levels as well, because you've got the bottom level with some rivers flowing everywhere, a bunch of waterfalls to look really nice alongside whatever you end up building here, and just a bunch of layers one on top of the other to make it really cool and unique. And yeah, I think you could definitely do something cool and special here. This is another great spot on Scorched Earth, and actually one of the more unique locations on the map, because you have this bright blue river and bodies of water along the bottom of the canyon. Bunch of greenery as well to really make it look nice, and a bunch of cool waterfalls to finish this magical and epic landscape that even has a bunch of these platforms to build on for you. So you can basically just pick whatever platform, whatever level you want. Maybe you want to have a platform here in the middle, you want to build up here, there's also an option for that. And of course you could just build down at the water level if you wish to, or do a combination of all three. I mean, nothing is stopping you. There's so many cool spots here. A lot of like the flat platforms for you to just perfectly build a base on, and it is a relatively safe area as well. As not to mention, you have access to water quite easily, which is also great on Scorched Earth, of course. Now, personally, I would probably go for either this one at the start of a waterfall, or maybe over there, or on the opposite side of that, so that you're looking out over the waterfall. Like this, for example, would be an amazing place. Now, these are the coordinates to find this canyon, but basically almost everywhere along this canyon, there's great spots to build. An extra bonus example of that is this ruin right here. You've got this like gateway that you could probably turn into your own personal gate, and you have a couple of ruins to rebuild in an interesting way down here. And you could still combine it by maybe making like an elevator or a stair up to the platform and having the nice views of the area surrounding this place and the blue canyon we just talked about. Now, this ruin you can find over here at these coordinates. And on the side of the mountain here, we've got another pretty cool base location, which includes another ruin. This time, it's slightly bigger. It's got a pretty flat top, which you could use to actually extend the ruin and build something on top of your own creation, as well as this nice little platform next to the ruin to add maybe your tames or just another build if you would want to. There's actually also a smaller ruin down there. Maybe you can use that as a little house to set up whilst you're rebuilding everything. But yeah, it's a pretty nice ruin right here on the edge of the mountain at the start of the dunes. So you're right on the edge of the desert. And you've got this nice interior with some different layers to work with, which you could probably easily turn into your own base and have all your stuff in here, because it's quite big, as you can see, so you should be able to fit most things in here. Even the bigger things like the replicator or the industrial forge should probably easily fit inside here. And then especially if you add some building on top of it, you should have plenty of space for a pretty cool and unique base. And this spot is right over here on the map. Now, if you maybe want to go for a base that's based on the Wasteland, this could be a pretty cool spot. It has the dead trees around, so you definitely have to have a plan for this kind of aesthetic. But as you can see, you have a relatively flat spot on top of here on this nice cliff, as well as these integrated ruins that are part of the cliff underneath. So you can have some interest like that. Maybe connect some staircase to this stairs. They're already there for the ruin. You've got oil and everything. So if you like the aesthetic, I think you can definitely build something cool here on the cliffs, right overlooking the dunes, and then having this ruin as like the hidden history of your base. And even though it's not big, there are some ruins here inside of the ruins that you could use for your base as well. And it's located right here on the map. Now, this is another really interesting base location. As you can see, there's some more ruins here on the edge of the dunes again. I don't know why they keep putting all their cool ruins on the edge of the desert. But yeah, you've got some buildings outside here that you could probably rebuild and connect to be like a little village here on the outskirts. You got a couple of cool buildings to work with, but the main feature here is actually hidden here inside the cliffside, and you could probably easily rebuild these towers and add the gate in between them to have your safety inside. Same with these three arches. If you add some smaller gates to this, you could definitely also make this safe. So I would do the smaller gates here, then maybe the behemoth on this side, so you have everything inside here pretty safe and being your base to rebuild. There's a lot of cool little walkways to follow and connect all these ruins, and you can probably try and get as many foundations down into some of these buildings, start rebuilding some of these structures to make a really cool hidden base inside of this cliff, because it's definitely a very unique place and quite hidden away as well. You could do some really cool stuff with this, I think, if you're up for it. And these runes are located right here on the map. And there we have it, the base locations that I've chosen. I'm curious if you enjoyed them, if you like them, maybe if you're going to build in one of them. And if you have any other good spots, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.